All right. Hey, scholars. Hi, how are you? Happy Thanksgiving break. I hope that y'all are having a fun time. I hope that y'all are being safe. And I hope that y'all are just enjoying your family and some time off. Now, I know that this is supposed to be a break, but as you all know, we have a very important deadline coming up, which is your Civil Rights Movement project. Now, if you've been like a lot of scholars and you've been working on this project since I assigned it last week, you should be a good amount of the way done and you're probably putting on some final touches. Now, if you're someone who needed a little bit more time or you just, decided to work over the break, that's cool too. Whatever your pacing was, just know that my project is due promptly on Monday, November 30th. Now, a lot of you have asked for me to go ahead and model the project so that you can make sure that you have everything done. So, the purpose of this video is for me to show once again, all the project requirements, and then I went ahead and did the full project on Miss Shirley Chisholm. You take a look at my virtual backdrop, I got the whole shebang going on here, okay? So I'm going to show you in model in this video what each part of the project should look like, okay? So just take your time, watch this video. If you need to pause it and come back because you need a different, setting to do it, that's fine. It is going to be a little longer just because I want you to see everything that you need to do in order for this project to be a success. So I am attaching this document right here to the email that this video was sent in. You have this PDF. Essentially, I want to go through each component. This is the project kind of planning page so you can see what you need. You all should have already selected your topic that you want to do for your civil rights movement project. If you haven't done that step, I don't know what you've been doing for a whole week in my class. Please choose a person or an event from the civil rights movement, and that will be the topic in which you're going to complete this project. Okay. If you still need help on the Google Classroom, if you go under Monday 11/16, you will see a presentation there that says Civil Rights Movement Project Introduction. Look through that. It has some more of the information there. Okay. Please remember, once again, this project was assigned on the 16th. It's due on the 30th. That gives you about less than a week to turn it in when we come back to school, okay? Scholars will be able to complete either a Google Slides or a Canva presentation. Ms. Mackey decided to do a Google Slides presentation because I think that's a little easier. But I know that there are some people, shout out to Cedria, shout out to Shyla, that on the last project completed an amazing Canva presentation. If you want to do that, I do have the tutorial for both Canva and Google Slides on the Google Classroom, so you can choose the option that fits your interest. If you are somebody who's like, bump technology, I've been looking at a screen for too long, I want to just do a poster, you can do a poster, but it's still your responsibility to make sure you meet all the requirements, okay? So just think about how you can put everything together to fit your need. So only the first two, listen, only the first two parts of the project need to be on either your poster or your presentation. That is because the third part of the project, as I will model, needs to be its own Google document, okay? Do not try to put your third part or part three on your poster or on your Google Slides. It needs to be a Google document shared with me via email. Finally, last little piece of information that you need to know, this project is worth 200 points. And as some of you saw, for quarter one, some of y'all were sitting at that C average. The project, you did it and you did it well for the Sudanese research project, and that bumped you up to that 80 percentile, that B range. For some people that were sitting at that B, it might have bumped you up for an A, right? So that's the benefit of completing projects, right? It's worth a lot more points and it can really boost your score. On the flip side, there were a number of you, Ms. Mack, you're not gonna get mad. There are a number of you that did not complete your project for whatever reason, and you might have seen that your grade said down a few notches. Okay, complete this project. It's not hard, and I want y'all to be able to do well on it. I was able to knock this out in not a lot of time, and it was fun because I was learning about the history of somebody that I was passionate about, and it really made doing the whole project fun. So choose somebody that you're interested in or something and just get into it a little bit. Okay, let's go over the three parts of the project. So I went ahead and condensed everything from that presentation into one document. So if you just want to use this from now on to kind of frame your mind behind what you need to put in each part of your project, please do so. Remember, both one and two are together, parts one and two. Part three is you're going to do separately on a Google Doc, okay? So let's take a look at number one. Part one is a 5-point research. I call it a 5-point research because you need to have at least 5 slides, or 5 sections if you're doing a poster on information that's important about your topic, right? So here are some ideas of what can be included. Please note that you might not want to do every single thing that's on this list, or you might find other things that you want to do, or maybe you want to just do 2 and make them equal 5, okay? But here are some ideas about what can go into your research. An introduction, who your person is or what your topic is, background information that we need to know about your person or your event, the location and timeline around your person or your event, important other people or groups or events that are associated with your event. Okay, so you need at least 5 slides of information that introduces your event or your person to the reader. This can be done on Google Slides, Canva, or an actual poster board. And if you want to bring that poster board to the school, that first week back would be the most ideal time. The second part of the project is what we did on Wednesday on Google Classroom. Okay. If you did the assignment on Wednesday, you are halfway there, and you should be good to go. Essentially, for part 2, you're doing an impact analysis. Your impact analysis is where you're going to have 2 paragraphs, at least 2 paragraphs. Now, there's some of you that are like, Miss Mackey, I want to write a little bit more. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Sorry for the motorcycles in the background. I kind of, I'm home in Florida, beach life. But you are going to write 2 paragraphs, and this can either be 2 slides or 2 sections, depending on how you want to do it, of written analysis of your topic's impact. Here are what your 2 paragraphs need to be about. Pay attention. Paragraph 1, you're telling me about why your topic or your person was important during the civil rights movement. What did they do? Why was it important? How did it help people achieve rights? I will show you when I do my Shirley Chisholm presentation. The other part of it, what is their legacy today? So in other words, how are they or that event remembered today? What impact do they have on society today? Okay, this should be on the same presentation that you did part 2. Part 3, this is where we kind of do a different document. You're going to be doing a Google Docs, and it's about if you're in the room where it happened. You're going to be writing a short story from the perspective of your icon, a member of the group that you are researching, or as if you were participating in whatever event that you selected. Okay. So just think about, like, if I did a person, I need to be writing a story about what they did, right? Just like with the book we read. If you're writing about the NAACP, the Black Panthers, the Freedom Riders, you're going to act like you are a part of that group and tell your story. Or if you're writing about an event such as the sit-ins, the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing, you're going to act like you were there. Okay, telling the story. It needs to be written from first person point of view. That means you're telling, I did this, we did this, this is how I felt. So you're acting like you're Dr. King. You're acting like you're Malcolm X. You're acting like whoever or whatever you selected. Okay. Here are the logistics. Think about all the literary things that we talked about. We talked about conflict. We talked about setting. We talked about characterization. Include all that good stuff in your writing, okay? It needs to be at least 2 pages typed, double spaced, okay? So it sounds intimidating if I say 2 pages, double spaced. And it needs to have at least 20 lines of dialogue. Now, if you don't meet that mark, it's fine. Remember, dialogue is conversation spoken back and forth. This needs to be on a Google Doc shared with me. Okay. I'm going to do a new share of my screen, and I am actually going to be showing you my project on Shirley Chisholm. And so I am attaching this. This is attached to the presentation, and you all should be able to see it as you look through. So as you can see, I'm going to go through the Google Slides presentation, but I'm also going to stop and kind of talk about what I came up with and how I did things so that you can kind of get your mind going. And so I started with the title page. You always want to start with the title page. Don't just jump right into it. Introduce people to your topic. So I have Shirley Chisholm. I came up with the title Unbought, Unbossed, because that's also the title of the book that she wrote. And it was her campaign slogan. And it is part of the title of my short story. Okay. And I also have my name on here. Don't forget to give credit to yourself. Put your name on your work. Right. So part 1, this is an example of my 5-point research, an overview of the civil rights movement icon, Miss Shirley Chisholm. So I'm gonna go through this kind of fast because I know that y'all have access to this. I have where she was born, where when she was born, some important things that I thought to think about when somebody needs to understand who she is as a person. She is the daughter of immigrants. Reason why that's important is because her perspective is a little different, right? Her dad is Guyanese and her mom is from Barbados. People from Barbados, not the same place I'm from, y'all. I'm from the Bahamas. Barbados people are called Bajan. And so she's Bajan, just like Rihanna. And she's the eldest of four girls. So she's an older sister. She spent time living in both Barbados and Brooklyn. So those are two different places. And this is also an important thing that I thought people should know about her background. She spoke with a West Indian accent throughout her life, which reflects the strict education and culture she had before moving to the United States. Okay. So one thing that I decided to pull out from one of my sources, remember you do need to tell us your sources and where you got information from, especially if you copied and paste. So this is information that I copied and paste. The other information, I have this cited on my works cited page, okay? So her Bayesian grandmother's influence regarding the role of her grandmother, she later said, Granny gave me strength, dignity, and love. I learned from an early age that I was somebody. I didn't need the Black Revolution to tell me that. So that tells me a little bit about her character, right? So I decided another important thing that I can include on my 5 point research was the foundation of her education. So she's a graduate of Girls High School in Brooklyn, New York. She got her bachelor's of art from Brooklyn College in 1946. She was skilled at debating. And so I thought that was important because, she's running to be the president of the United States during this time, needs to be able to debate. She is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated sorority. And she is a Harriet Tubman Society scholar. So I think that she has a lot of connections, right? She got her master's of art in elementary education from Teacher College at Columbia University, which is an Ivy League, which during that time in 1952, this is right at the start of the civil rights movement. That's a big deal. An Ivy League. An Ivy League are the top colleges in the country, very prestigious and hard to get into. And she got a graduate degree from there. She worked as a TA and she was a director of a nursery. Okay. This is just an overview of just some things that got her involved in policy. So she was part of the NAACP. She was a director, an active member of her district's Unity Democratic Club. Um, she was in the legislative office in Brooklyn. And then this is some of the things that she represented. Okay. In 1964, she ran for and became the second African American in the New York State legislature after court ordered red districting created a new heavily Democratic district in her neighborhood. In 1968, she sought and won a seat in Congress. Okay, so this is something that I actually copied and pasted from this source. And remember, you want to put the last name of the author in the quotation mark. And then my last piece of information, I kind of have some images here. Yes, you can put pictures, designs, images, make it look nice and colorful, right, in your project. And so one of the biggest contributions that she had is running for president. And so I really love just some of these images here. This in 1972 is when she ran for president. And we see that phrase again, unbought and unbossed. And these are just some of her political campaigns. All right, let's jump into part two. Remember, part two is your 2 paragraphs. I'm not going to read my 2 paragraphs because they're very lengthy. The first one is the one that I posted on the Google Classroom. So you all should have been seeing that already. And then I went ahead and wrote a second paragraph. That one I will actually go through. These paragraphs can just be copied and pasted or written right into your Google Slides. So this is the first paragraph that I showed y'all in class. If you need guidance on what it should look and sound like, look at this, okay? Here's the second one that I came up with. So remember the second one is what you should be looking at for your legacy, okay? So this is what I said. 2020 has been one of the most tumultuous, eventful, and pandemonium-stricken years to date. On top of dealing with the grueling coronavirus pandemic, the United States endured the political campaigning and election season for the most drama-filled and unprecedented presidential elections yet. While the battle between the incumbent 45th President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden took center stage, another historic wave became a headline as well. Kamala Harris's run for the Democratic nominee and her eventual election as the presumed Vice President of the United States. As we take time to celebrate Harris, it is essential to understand how Shirley Chisholm's legacy paved the way for this marked achievement. Similar to Kamala Harris, it is essential to understand how Shirley Chisholm's legacy paved the way for this marked achievement. Similar to Kamala Harris, Shirley Chisholm was extremely educated and qualified, but lacked financial, moral, and political support from her own party while enduring extreme racist and sexist attacks from her opposition. Chisholm, who mostly paid for her campaign on her credit card, focused on civil rights and poverty. She became the target of vehement sexism. One New York Times article from June 1972, not going to read all the way through that, but they basically talked about her pretty badly. At the end, I said, while not suffering the same harsh scrutiny, it is a true testament to the impact that Shirley Chisholm had on women in politics. Kamala Harris has endured with strength, dignity, and character the same resilience that Chisholm's legacy has passed down. The conversations related to her persons that were unnecessary to analyze her political platform is the same rhetoric that we have seen throughout history. The bonding connection between these two phenomenal women showcases how the fight for civil rights continue on today. So essentially in this paragraph, I talked about one thing that's going on in the world today that reminds me of the accomplishment of Miss Shirley Chisholm. Okay. So that is the two parts that should be in your presentation. I'm ending right here with a quote. This is my favorite quote just ever. If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair, and that's on period. All right. All right. So the last thing that I'm going to share with you, I'm not going to read the full thing because you will have access to it, is your short story. Okay. So remember the short story. I'm just going to read a little bit of the beginning. You have access to the whole thing. And if you are interested in talking a little bit more about it, let me know. It says, as a former, first of all, it's titled Shirley Chisholm, Unbought and Unbossed by Miss Mackey. Don't forget to put your name. As a former educator, I have always prided myself on believing in big dreams. Starting off living on the beautiful island of Barbados and moving to Brooklyn and excelling in school, I knew that I would always do something not only for myself, but for my family and my community. After graduating from Columbia University, a big accomplishment as it is the number one college of education in the country and an Ivy League school, I wanted to use my degree in education to shape the world. Last month, I won a seat in Congress. The world was at attention as I beat someone that everyone thought should beat me, considering that, for one, it is the 1960s and I am a Black woman. Yes, Black and a woman. Oh, let us not forget that I beat a white man who was popular in his district. That win was all the motivation that I needed to set myself up for success in pursuing the position as President of the United States in the future. But for right now, I am energized to ruffle a few feathers in Congress. Now, this is not something that I think is going to be easy. I know that there is a lot of conversation around me right now because I don't take any crap from nobody. My main priority is to be a representative for the people. My district elected me to represent them, and my state elected me to be the voice that they needed. I have no fear of people on either side of the aisle who don't support me and most definitely don't respect me. I am here to make a difference. This morning, as I entered the chambers to collect my paperwork, a senator from the state of Tennessee bumped me, causing all of my papers to fall on the floor. Hey, watch out where you're going, I said in a slightly bitter tone. Me? Watch out where I'm going? The man responded with a scoff. You shouldn't even be in here. The janitorial staff should only be in here during break time. Janitorial staff? You must not know who I am. Why would I know who you are? It makes no difference to me, the man responded. Well, it should, sir, I said, being that I am your colleague and we will be working together, and I may very well be your boss one day. I must be being tricked, he laughed. Rick, get in here. I'm going to pause. You can read the rest of the story on your own if you would like. And so I'm going to end by saying thank you for watching this video. So if you made it all the way through, shout out to you. Hopefully that gives you some insight, some information on how to do your project. take a look at everything. I'm posting everything that I just did to the email that is attached. Take a look at it, use it as a model, and I'm looking forward to seeing yours. Talk to you later. See you soon. Love you, mean it. Bye.